Rather than hiring new workers to tend to their airport lounges, Delta is asking its salaried workers and members of their management staff to volunteer, essentially do extra work to help clean up their sky lounges. Now, apparently they're having trouble finding enough workers because the contractor who they worked with to recruit workers couldn't find enough people to work the sky lounges. So as a result, according to Bloomberg, the labor crunch is hitting just as domestic leisure travel starts recovering from the pandemic, sending a rising stream of travelers into airports. Delta sent the request through internal channels to Atlanta salaried and management employees or headquarters workers who make up the pool of eligible volunteers, the airline said. They're looking for people who can clean tables, restock the buffet, do these jobs on top of the jobs they already have. In fact, just come to the ATL airport is what their email said for a few hours to help with cleaning, wiping tables, running food, restocking food buffets, etc. The company said in its message to employees, it advised volunteers to wear business casual black pants and white shirts, and they said they would be provided with aprons. Are they not merciful? Will they be provided with extra pay since they're taking on extra work that doesn't fall under their job title? No, the employees won't receive any pay or compensation for helping out at the loyalty lounges. So Delta's not a small company. Delta, of course, I'm sure was financially harmed by the pandemic. So in 2020, it would make sense that their CEO would, see that the pandemic and its consequences would be reflected in his pay. But if you look at his pay, quite the opposite. Delta CEO Ed Bastian's total compensation amounted to $13.1 million in 2020, including a salary of $237,500, stock awards of $8.4 million, and option awards of $4.1 million, along with other compensation, and that's according to a filing with the US Securities and Exchange Commission.
Well, I'm sure he went down to stock the buffet too, right? Because they're calling for Delta employees.
Yeah, about that. No, looks like he didn't do that. Yeah. No.
So look, I guess it could have been worse, right? They at least do work for Delta. In the beginning of the story, I was like, are they just asking people to volunteer and just not pay them? That's not a thing, right? And it's not like, hey, you know what? You work in CNN, you get some, internship or something, and you get to put it on your resume and etc. Right? No, it's just, hey, I need cleanup in aisle 5.
Yep.
You want to volunteer and then not get paid? Okay, all right, but at least it's their internal staff. But like if you offered a little extra on top of what their job is, that makes sense. Or if you just hired other people for the job, God forbid, and paid a little extra, that would make sense. This is not fulfilling work. This is not like, hey, you volunteer at the hospital and you take care of cancer patients. No, we're not gonna pay you, we should, but we're not, but you're volunteering and that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
There's plenty of places where volunteering makes sense. Volunteer to clean up the scraps of rich folks at the Delta Club?
Yeah, that's exactly what this is. And Cenk, I mean, this isn't one of those situations where something happened to the staff, it's unforeseen circumstances, someone couldn't find childcare, someone got sick. And so, you help your colleagues out. I mean, that kind of stuff happens at this small company time to time, and you help your team out. But that's not what's happening here. This is actually a very common practice within the airline industry, at Delta specifically. And it's not just a few hours of work. In fact, while volunteers are needed at all times, there's a limit of 3 days per person per month. But that's 3 days out of your month where you're doing a job that doesn't fall under your job title and you're not getting paid for it. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. And this is common. Delta for years has sought volunteers during its busiest travel seasons under what's known as the Peach Corps program, because this is in Atlanta. Hire people. Obviously, if you keep running into this issue where you don't have enough employees to do the job, then maybe you need to hire employees. And maybe you need to entice potential employees by offering them decent pay. But like this whole thing of like, yeah, we don't want to pay more people to do this job, so let's just exploit our salaried workers because they don't get paid hourly. No, that's not okay.
I mean, look, if on top of this, they then said, but you still have to hit your goals for the other job you were supposed to be doing while you were volunteering at this job. So you have to work twice as hard. That would be beyond outrageous. And God knows if that's happening. But look, again, this is not like, hey, at your company, hey, we had a birthday party for Bob. Let's all clean up.
Yeah,
it's not that. That's not that. No, they're telling you to come to the Atlanta airport. They do it all the time. And they're like, okay, now you move those boxes, you restock the food, etc. No, it's a real job, right?
Yes.
On top of the job you already have. And so calling it a volunteer is absurd. On the other hand, there's the same folks who named it the Peach Corps program. And I can't be the only one uncomfortable with that name.
Yeah. Use your imagination.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.